Now that Allah's World is approaching 200 subscribers, I figured it was a good time to hire a couple interns to help around the office. Now, I like to think of myself as a warm and caring boss who truly wants to see his employees succeed in life.
Hi guys, welcome to Jose's World. In today's quick video, oh hey Mr. Ali,
The hell is this?
I'm just trying to be as good as you. I was just practicing.
Hey, stop, hey, it's okay, look at me. Listen, you will never be a YouTube star like me. Now clean this up. The interns absolutely love it here.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Allah's World of Finance. In this quick video, we're gonna talk about a weekly update here for the stock market. And we're gonna talk about some of the stocks that I'm invested in the most, kind of a mixture with some other trendy stocks. And well, most of the stocks that I'm invested in are trendy, but that just happens to be the ones that I like. And we also have some other stocks here that the viewers have been asking for as well. And so we're just going to break down some of the numbers for the week, and I'll be giving kind of like just some quick updates and some quick opinions on a few of these stocks. And I've actually done a lot more detailed videos on each of these individual stocks, most of these at least, and I'll have those videos linked in the description below. But without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get started. So the first stock that we're going to look at is Nintendo, and obviously Nintendo is my favorite stock. I've mentioned it a lot of times, and it's the one that I'm invested in the most. And it's really been a good source of profit for me. It's been returning a good amount of profit there, around $2,000 so far for me. And when looking at Nintendo, it is priced fairly high already, but I believe that if Pokemon comes out for the Nintendo Switch, then that could still drive the Nintendo stock up a lot more. However, if Pokemon doesn't come out for it, then I start to wonder if maybe I should be in sell territory or maybe hold, and I would make an evaluation at that point. But right now I'm still investing in Nintendo currently. I'm still putting more money into it, and I'm waiting for Pokemon to be announced. So if Pokemon gets announced, then I think I'll get even more profit from it. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers here. For the week, Nintendo is up 0.77%. For the month, they are up 17.36%. Last 3 months, they're up around 45%, and then year to date, up around 45%. So Nintendo's been doing very well and green across the board. Now let's look at AMD. So AMD is one of those stocks that, a lot of people argue about. Some people love AMD, some people hate AMD. Well, I'm on the side that loves AMD. And some of the reasons why I love AMD is because they have a few products coming out that I think are going to really help the stock and really help AMD steal some of the market share from Intel and Nvidia and some of those. And especially like the Epic that is coming out, that's going to really help them in the server market. And Threadripper is also going to be coming out, and that'll be competing against the Intel Core i9. And it's going to really come down to price and performance. And if the Threadripper comes out and it's priced at around half the price of the Intel Core i9, or even just like $800 cheaper, something like that, then you could definitely see a lot of people picking the Threadripper over Intel. However, if the Threadripper comes out and it's priced similar to the Intel Core i9, or if benchmark scores come out and Intel just completely like destroys the Threadripper in performance, which I don't really think will happen, but if it does, then AMD would definitely be in a lot of trouble. But and they also have GPUs coming out, so they definitely have a lot of different products coming out. So I happen to like AMD, but I'm not saying that I'm right and you guys or anybody else is wrong. AMD could definitely still drop. I mean, we have seen a few dips from AMD, but I really think that they're gonna start to pick it up getting closer to the end of the year, especially with Threadripper coming out and Ryzen 3 and stuff like that. All right, so let's look at their performance. So for the week, down almost 1%. For the month, they are up almost 7%, but the last 3 months, they're down around 16%, and year to date, down getting close to 4%. However, in a total of 1 year's time, I believe they're up like around 150% or something like that. So they're still doing very well, but this year in particular, if you started investing this year, then you may have caught some of these losses here. But at the moment, I'm still holding my AMD. I have had obviously a few dips, but I've taken the opportunity to actually purchase more stock, and I'm really expecting it to go back up. And that's just my opinion, but that's what I'm hoping for. Now let's look at Disney. So Disney is my third stock that I'm heavily invested in right now, and I think that Disney is a good stock for me right now because I believe it's a little undervalued, and I'll explain why. Because you can see how some of these other stocks have had much greater performance, right? And so that's a fair argument to say that Disney has, not been performing very well. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that ESPN has been having, some difficult numbers. But Disney is a well-run company, and they're focusing on transitioning and making adjustments to accommodate those losses, to make up for those losses in the ESPN section and in their broadcasting section and stuff like that. So as long as they keep making these transitions to the mobile market, to the digital market, stuff like that, then I think that they can turn those losses into profits in the long term. And I also really like their studio division, like Star Wars and Marvel and all that kind of stuff. They have a lot of really good stuff going on and theme parks across the world. So I still really like Disney. I see them as more of a longer term play though. I don't see them as a short term. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they even dip down a little bit more. But I'm investing in Disney because I consider this a little bit of a dip. So let's take a look at the numbers. So for the week, down 1.13%. For the month, down 4.30%, and then the last 3 months down 3.65%. So there's kind of your little dip there if you're interested in Disney. However, year to date, they're still up a little bit, so up 2.84% for the year. Now, BlackBerry is a stock that I've been really excited about recently. I wish I would have invested a while ago. One of my friends actually told me to invest in BlackBerry like months ago, and I didn't do it, and I should have. But I really like BlackBerry. They actually just released the newest phone. I believe it's called the Priv. No, what is it? The Priv one? No, the Key one. I believe it's called the Key one, something like that. But I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest, and I mentioned it in a previous video. I actually made a video on BlackBerry where I broke down the stock, and it was a very interesting video, so I recommend you check it out. But I'm not a huge fan of that phone because it has a keyboard and everything. However, I was reading an article, and I'm constantly reading articles on stocks, and that's probably, if you guys are wondering why I'm always making update videos on individual stocks and stuff like that, it's because I read articles all the time. I'm constantly reading stock articles, and I recommend you do the same. It's a great way to learn about all these stocks. But I was reading this article where BlackBerry was pretty much saying that they have been selling out of that new phone. So they've just recently released it, and they've been selling out already. I believe pre-orders and then just regular sales, they were selling out. So, I don't know how much we can trust BlackBerry because it's BlackBerry saying that, it's not like some retailer. But once we start to see numbers from retailers and stuff like that, then we might get a better picture. But it's kind of interesting that phone is selling well, because I thought it was going to be a failure. But they do have other things that they're doing that I think are going to bode very well for them. So I'm still really excited about BlackBerry. They're transitioning more to security and services and stuff like that, and I think they're doing a great job. We've obviously seen some great numbers from them. So they're green across the board. For the week, up 1.62%. For the month, up 18.97%, almost 20% there. Last 3 months, up almost 65%, and then year to date, up almost 64%. So very good from BlackBerry. Now, Snapchat is a stock that is also similar to AMD because a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. I'm one of the people that loves it. So I'm liking the fact that they're dipping, and I'm taking advantage, and I've been buying some stock in Snapchat, or Snap, however you want to say it. But their numbers have been red across the board. For the week, down 0.61%. For the month, down getting close to 10%. And then last 3 months, down 22%. So I really just see this as a good entry point to get into Snapchat, to be honest. All right, so Google. Google is, well, it's one of those monster stocks. We're actually going to talk about a few monster stocks here. And these stocks are the stocks that, if I wasn't following the stock market as closely as I am, if I wasn't looking at all of these other smaller companies and smaller stocks and just kind of more varied stocks that I think I could profit a lot more from. If I wasn't doing that, if I was just kind of a passive investor where I just wanted to put money away somewhere and just not look at it and just go about my regular life, then I'd probably be investing in these companies. So let's get started. Let's look at these 5. Google is the first one. Google's a monster. It's a beast. Android, their Google search engine, Google Maps. I can never imagine them going out of the picture. So I think it's a great company to be investing in. For the week, up 0.43%. For the month, up around 5%. For the last 3 months, up 17.67%. And then year to date, up around 26%. So just great numbers, green across the board. Not as high as some of these other ones, like, maybe not as high as Nintendo, Not as high as BlackBerry, but still great numbers nonetheless, and a great safe company to invest in my opinion. Amazon is another one of those, and I just love Amazon's business model. I love how they try to grow. And I wouldn't say that I love the fact that they're taking all these companies out of business, because some of those companies I actually like. But if I was investing in Amazon, then I would love the fact that they're beating all of their competition. So for the week, they're up around 1%. For the month, up 7.77%. Last 3 months, up 18.46%. And then year to date, up 34.25%. So very good from Amazon. And they actually just broke that that price of price per share. They reached $1,000. They got over $1,000. So very expensive stock, but if you can afford it, it's a great company to invest in. By the way, all of these numbers are from MarketWatch.com. I think I forgot to mention that. All right, next one is Apple. Apple is another stock that I love. I actually recently had to sell it, and I mentioned it in the video how I was like depressed that I had to sell it, because I really wanted to keep holding it, and I was waiting for the iPhone 8, but I had to sell it because I needed money for my summer tuition for my master's program. So, but Apple's a great stock. I really like it. I like it right now for the iPhone 8 coming out, but in the future, I'm a little worried because I think that, I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of really good phones coming out. Like the OnePlus 5 is coming out soon, and that one is going to have like flagship level specs, but it's going to have a mid-tier price, or at least it's expected to. And we're seeing that a lot more from these phones. Some phones are coming out with great specs and they're a lot cheaper, you know, like half the price of an iPhone, or, you know, maybe 3/4 of a price. And then there's also the Essential phone. I kind of just want to mention it because it's a phone that I'm really interested in right now and I'm looking at. But it's made by Andy Rubin, the guy who one of the guys that created Android. And he basically started his own company, and he's making his own phone. It's called the Essential phone. If you guys haven't heard of it, you should look it up. It's cool. I'm not sponsored by them, but I just think it looks really nice. It's a really nice looking phone, but it's also very expensive. I think it's like $700 or so, but it's very expensive. But I just worry about Apple because they only have one phone, the iPhone, and there's just so many other phones out there. But you know, diehard Apple fans, they're gonna keep buying iPhones, so I can absolutely see why people would keep buying iPhones. And if you have a Mac, if you have an Apple Watch, you're in that whole ecosystem. So they have a really good business model. So I still really like Apple. I'm a big fan of Apple. So for the week, they're up 1.20%. For the month, up getting close to 5%. For the last 3 months, up around 11.21%. And then year to date, up 34.22%. Okay. All right, so Microsoft for the week up 2.57%, in a month up 4%, last 3 months up 11.69%, and then year to date up 15.48%. And these are yeah, so those are the four. Okay, the fifth one here, Facebook for the week up 0.97%, for the month up 2.24%, last 3 months up getting close to 12%, and year to date up around 33%. Another great stock to just throw money into and not really have to think about it. Facebook is one of those, and they have Instagram, and they've had phenomenal growth. I didn't really talk about Microsoft, but I'll just quickly say that Microsoft has a lot of new products out in the Surface line. They have the Surface laptop out now, the newest Surface Pro, which they're not calling the Surface Pro 5. I think they're calling it just Surface Pro 2017, I believe. But they're very expensive, but apparently they keep selling, and they're really great devices and can really compete with like iPads because they're really based more on a laptop sort of model, like, you know, the Surface Pro. And it just has so much functionality. It's so portable. So they're really great devices. So I still really like Microsoft, but then they have all kinds of other stuff going on, like cloud business and servers and stuff like that. All right, next one here. This one was actually recommended by a viewer. They wanted me to talk about it. So I'll just kind of quickly mention it here. Cemex. It's like a construction kind of material company. And I don't know how I feel about it too much because I don't really look at construction or construction material companies too much. I used to be invested in Vulcan. It's like Vulcan Materials. And it was very volatile and it kind of scared me away. And then I've never really came back to that market and invested there. So I don't really know how I feel about it. They're priced much lower than Vulcan. I think last time I checked, Vulcan was like over $100 per share, something like that, I believe. Cemex is like, I believe it's like $9 a share, something close to that. But I don't know. I mean, they could be growing if you know, if that whole wall gets built between the United States and Mexico. They would obviously need a lot of material for that. So I don't know. There's some different things to look at. I need to keep reading more articles on it. So as I research it more, maybe I can add to it in future weeks. So for the week, CEMEX is up 1.55%. For the month, down 3.62%. Last 3 months, up only 0.12%. And then year to date, up 10.22%. So not huge numbers from there, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment and let me know. Shopify. Shopify is another one that has been asked for by one of the viewers. And Shopify is an interesting stock. It's actually could possibly be one of my new favorites. However, it's priced a little high. It's at around $100 a share, I believe, and they're not profitable. So there are some concerns, but they're a heavy growth stock. They're a rapid growth stock. And I actually just made a video on it, so you guys might want to check that one out, but it's very interesting. But I do like Shopify. I really like them, and they're a rapid growth company. I don't know if they're priced to perfection right now. I don't know if they're I don't think that they're overvalued, but maybe just like fairly valued. But there's just some other stocks that I think I like a little bit more, but I'm still a big fan of Shopify. So don't get me wrong, I love Shopify, but I'm not investing in it right now. So I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not investing in it. For the week, up 7.48%. For the month, up almost 15%. For the last 3 months, up almost 62%. And year to date, up 127%. So fantastic, guys. Amazing numbers from Shopify. I think those are the best numbers on the board. Yeah, I believe they're the best numbers on the board. So incredible numbers from Shopify. I'm just worried if they're too high right now. I would like them to dip, but they may not dip because they're a rapid growth company. A lot of people are getting really excited about Shopify. It may just continue to go up. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Wynn. So Wynn is my favorite hotel resort stock, and a couple other YouTubers really like Wynn as well. But I do love Wynn. I had stock in Wynn. I had to sell it because I needed money, but I sold it at a nice little profit. They're pretty high right now, but I think rightfully so. They're a great company, and they still have a lot of things coming out. A couple of resorts coming out, a couple of hotels. So a really good stock there. So for the week, Wynn is up 7%. For the month, up around 10%. Last 3 months, up around 33%, and then year to date, up around 55%. So fantastic numbers from Wynn, and a lot of that has to do with Macau bouncing back and reporting great numbers. Now Tesla is the leader in autonomous driving. It looks like they're going to be the future in that. So a great stock. Also, sort of a growth stock there, right? Because they're not even profitable, but Tesla is one of those that a lot of people like. Some people don't like. A lot of people like them though. For the week, up almost getting close to 5%. For the month, up 10%. Last 3 months, up 35%, and then year to date, up around almost 60%, getting close to 60%. Now GoPro, and by the way, when I say for the month, that is a 1 month time, not just because I know we just started June, but that's like a 1 month time. I should have clarified that earlier, but I believe that's how MarketWatch calculates their numbers. So GoPro for the week, up 0.12%. For the month, down 0.12%. Last 3 months, up getting close to 5%, and then year to date, down around 3.44%. So nothing huge positive, nothing huge negative, but just kind of there. But they've obviously been down a lot, and in like the in the long term. But GoPro is just one of those stocks. I'm invested in GoPro, by the way, and I'm still holding my stock in GoPro. And I think GoPro is a little undervalued because they've had some great numbers come out, but I think if they can have a couple more earnings calls come out, and if they do good in those earnings calls, which I expect them to, and they've been showing in the past, then I think we can start to see the stock solidify and start to go up. So if the next earnings call, if they do bad, then the stock could get hammered, but if they do good, I really think that the stock will start to be coming up a lot. So I'm holding my stock in GoPro, and I'm hoping that they do well in the upcoming earnings calls. Okay, so I think that's about it. So anyway, I'm out of breath and I need a drink of water. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video, please subscribe, and if you have any suggestions, leave a comment below, and I will catch you guys later. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Take care.